The Gilgo Beach murders. For, gosh, over a decade, this case was just this chilling shadow over Long Island. So many questions, so much fear.
Yeah, just hanging there.
And then, boom, July 2023. This twist nobody saw coming. An arrest. And not just anyone, but this architect. A guy living a totally normal life.
Seemingly normal, yeah.
Yeah.
But accused of this horrifying double life.
Exactly. So in this deep dive, we're going to really try and unpack this, How did this mystery stay unsolved for so long? What was the breakthrough? And the really disturbing stuff about Rex Heuermann's alleged hidden world.
It's fascinating, isn't it? As we look at the sources, you'll see how information, sometimes tiny things you just ignore,
Yeah.
a pizza crust.
Right, the pizza crust. We'll get to that.
Yeah, how that can piece together something so incredibly complex. Our goal here really is to dig into not just what happened, but why it matters. What does this whole awful case tell us?
Okay, so let's start at the beginning then. May 1st, 2010, that's kind of the flashpoint, right? Shanann Gilbert.
That panic 911 call, yeah.
She calls 911 from Oak Beach, says she's fleeing a client's house, and then she just disappears. Gone.
Vanished into the night. So the police start looking for her.
But the search for Shanann leads them somewhere much, much darker. December 2010, just a few months later, they start finding bodies, 4 women, all wrapped in burlap, all close together there on Gilgo Beach.
And just like that, a missing person case becomes, well, a serial killer investigation. A massive one.
Yeah, instantly changes everything.
And what's really striking, especially looking back, is how long it stayed cold. I mean, the scale of it was horrific from the start.
Right.
You had this emerging victim profile, young women, all connected to escort services, disappearing in very similar ways.
And the number kept growing?
It did. Eventually, remains linked to, I think, 11 individuals were found in that area over time. But for years, nothing. No fingerprints they could use, no clear DNA leads, no suspects, just silence. And this fear settling over the community.
It's baffling, though. 11 bodies, or remains linked to them. A clear pattern. Why did it stay cold for so long? What were the roadblocks?
Well, that's a huge question. Beyond the lack of that slam dunk forensic evidence early on, and the kind you see on TV.
Right, the easy clue.
Yeah, which really happens. There's also this other layer, and it's uncomfortable but important. Systemic bias.
Meaning
The victims, mostly sex workers. For too long, they were just marginalized, kind of ignored by society, maybe even by some in law enforcement initially. Their disappearances didn't get the same immediate, full-throttle attention maybe other cases would have.
That's a tough reality, that societal view potentially slowing things down.
It definitely didn't help. Made it harder to get traction, to get the resources needed early on.
Okay, so years pass, dead ends, frustration. But then, 2022. Things change.
A dedicated task force, finally.
And they start looking at everything again, right? Connecting dots that maybe weren't connected before. Cell tower data, burner phones.
Old data, new eyes, new technology.
And the pizza crust. Here's where it gets really interesting.
Absolutely.
So, early 2023, they start actively tailing Rex Heuermann.
Putting eyes on him.
And the descriptions from surveillance are, well, kind of mundane. He looked normal, maybe a bit awkward, overweight. Nothing, as one source said, that screamed monster.
Just a guy going to work.
But they noticed patterns,
Exactly.
key things, like his use of burner phones,
Yes.
constantly switching them apparently,
Trying to stay off the grid.
and then his online searches, just chilling. Things like how to dismember a body, even searching why do serial killers get caught.
Wow. It's like he's studying, researching.
Yeah, and that leads us to the pizza box.
The moment it all connected, this is, I think, the pivotal point. They see him throw out a pizza box outside his office in Manhattan.
His architecture office.
Yeah, they recover it from the trash. They know this could be it. They test the crust, just the leftover crust, for DNA. And bingo, it's a match. The DNA from that crust matches a male hair found on the burlap wrapped around one of the first victims discovered back in 2010, Megan Waterman.
After all those years, a hair on burlap and a pizza crust.
Exactly. It's incredible, really. That single piece of discarded evidence provides the forensic link they desperately needed. It just shows you, doesn't it, how persistent forensic work, even with seemingly tiny traces, can break open these decades-old cases.
It's amazing. How often does something like that, like garbage, actually crack a case this old? Is that common?
Well, maybe not common, but it's definitely becoming more possible. DNA tech is just so much more sensitive now.
Right.
Investigators are trained to look for these tiny traces, things that might have been missed years ago. So yeah, sometimes that seemingly random discarded item, it holds the key. It tells you everything matters.
So the focus shifts entirely to Rex Heuermann, and the picture that emerges is jarring.
Contrast, yeah.
Here's this guy, married, father of two, an architect designing buildings in Manhattan, lives in this pretty unassuming house in Massapequa Park.
Just miles from Gilgo Beach.
Miles.
Oh.
On the surface, totally normal suburban life.
Which makes the allegations even more horrifying.
Then comes the arrest. July 2023, right outside his office. Must have been chaos.
Shockwaves, definitely. And then the search of his house.
And what they found inside just paints this incredibly disturbing picture. What was it? Over 270 guns?
Yeah, a huge number of firearms, plus multiple fake IDs.
More of those disturbing online searches. Accounts on escort websites.
And this hidden room or compartment in the basement, apparently soundproofed.
Soundproofed. Chilling. And his family, his wife, his kids, they claim they had no idea.
That's what they've stated, yes. Complete shock and disbelief. No knowledge of any of this.
So what's the prosecution's theory? How did he allegedly operate?
The picture they're painting is one of meticulous planning. They allege he'd stalk victims online using those burner phones and fake names to make contact.
Luring them in.
Luring them, yes. Then, allegedly, strangling them, wrapping them in burlap, that specific signature, and then disposing of the bodies out on Gilgo Beach, that remote stretch of shoreline.
The planning involved. It seems so calculated.
It does. That level of detail suggests, well, a need for control, perhaps.
Yeah.
It really makes you wonder about the psychology behind it, if the allegations are true.
Were there other signs of this methodical approach? You mentioned the burner phones.
Right, the burner phones, the fake names, that all points to trying to create anonymity, avoid getting caught. It's not impulsive.
Uh-huh.
And the timing, too. This is really stark. The prosecution highlights this pattern. He allegedly struck when his family was away.
Out of town on trips, vacations.
Exactly. Which suggests, again, careful planning, waiting for the opportunity to act alone, unseen. It points to this deeply compartmentalized life.
Alone, calculating, predatory. That's how the prosecution described it. It just sends a shiver down your spine.
It really does.
And imagine being in that community, Massapequa Park. People are just reeling, right?
Absolutely. Neighbors who knew him, maybe waved hello, now they're avoiding the street.
I read one quote, a neighbor saying something like, "We thought he was weird, maybe, but a serial killer." That's TV stuff, not real life.
That sense of disbelief. How could this be happening next door?
So where's the case stand now? We're in mid-2025.
The trial is just getting underway. It's going to be a long process, I imagine. Right now, Heuermann is formally charged in connection with 4 of the murders: Melissa Bartholomew, Megan Waterman, Amber Costello, and Maureen Brainerd Barnes. The Gilgo 4, they're sometimes called.
But prosecutors think he might be linked to more.
They do. They've said publicly they believe he could be tied to potentially more than 10 of the victims whose remains were found in the area. So this trial might just be the beginning. It really underscores this long search for full accountability, for all the victims and their families.
It's more than just a crime story, isn't it? It feels like a story about secrets, how deep they can run. This idea of a man living 2 completely separate lives, one so normal, the other allegedly so monstrously dark. And it's also a story about the victims. Women who, as you said, were kind of pushed to the margins, ignored for too long.
Tragically, yes.
It took over 10 years and maybe, possibly, dozens of lives lost before this got the attention it needed.
A very hard truth in this case.
So we've gone from these grim, mysterious discoveries on a beach to this sudden, shocking arrest of this architect, Rex Heuermann. It's been quite a journey unpacking this.
A deeply unsettling one.
Yeah.
And it's important to remember, this is still unfolding. The trial is happening throughout 2025. There are likely, almost certainly, more secrets buried here that will come out.
Yeah.
And it raises that bigger question, doesn't it? What other truths are hiding just beneath the surface? In seemingly ordinary places, ordinary lives? How many other stories are out there just waiting for someone to finally listen?
It really makes you think. As you go about your day-to-day, just consider that. how deep secrets can be hidden, and how long it can take for the truth sometimes to finally claw its way out, even when it was maybe right there, hiding in plain sight all along.